What is up, everyone? My name is Brendan Harberts.
And I'm Dalton Katz.
Welcome to the Workbench Podcast, episode number 7. What's going on, guys? Again, my name is Brendan Harberts.
And I'm Dalton Katz, and this is the Workbench Podcast, where we talk about the most interesting people, businesses, and projects in Sioux Falls. Today, we have the best guest on today.
The best ever. We have peaked now because we are joined by the wonderful
Kim Wahl.
Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've lost 180 pounds in the last 4 years, a little over 4 years, and got rid of my type 2 diabetes and plantar fasciitis.
How casually you're saying all this.
Yeah, you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, I went for a walk. I went and got groceries. I lost 180 pounds. Beat type 2 diabetes, whatever.
It's usually just a normal day's work for Kim.
Kim, what do you do for work? Let's get that stuff out of the way right away. What do you do for work?
I work for the Social Security Administration, Office of Hearings Operations.
So I've known you for 4 years, and I'm still not actually sure what you do. And you've explained this to me within the last week. What do you actually do?
Anybody that needs a hearing in front of the Social
that's
Security Administration for any reason, it comes to our office, and I get the files ready for hearing.
Kim's
and
part
I
of
do
the
a lot of other
CIA.
stuff, but that's mostly it.
For context, for context as well, we actually recorded one episode with Kim, but there was a slight malfunction, and the way that we recorded it, turns out you got to hit that record button.
I recorded it. I just deleted the audio.
But what I wanted to bring up is that Kim also explained this to us on that recording, but Brendan forgot in the meantime.
First things first about me. If you're talking to me, I'm not listening.
Well, fair enough.
Kim, do you like your job?
Yes.
Okay. What do you like about your job?
I get to talk to a lot of people, do a lot of different things. It's something different every day. It's always busy. And it combines both medical and legal.
Nice.
Which I like both. So
How long you been there?
let's see. Since 93.
I wasn't even born yet.
So do you have like a legal background then, Kim?
I do. I have a paralegal degree.
Oh, I had no idea. Very cool.
Well, Kim was going to go to law school first for a while, right?
I was.
I do remember that.
Yeah, back in 1980. But then I got the notice to come work for the government. And I decided to go work for the government.
Good decision.
For the most part,
So, question, I'm not sure how much you could talk about this, but what can you all tell us that the government's hiding?
The government's hiding nothing that I know of.
All right,
I'm
first
just
of
a
all,
little-
that's not remotely true.
I'm just a little peon. I don't.
What does that mean?
No.
I'm
Kim, you know where
low
the
on
aliens are.
totem. No,
Hey.
I don't.
So, like, is there anything you can, like, give us, like, a little snippet, like, you know, pushed in on 11?
No, he did not do 9/11.
Okay, well.
He says that to me all the time, and I tell him repeatedly that
I
he's
thought you
wrong.
meant Bush says to you, I didn't do it. I was like, what?
No, you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Brendan does have a weird fascination with 9/11, but I don't know if that's what everybody wants to hear today. But but anyways, Kim, I guess one of the most fascinating parts about your journey has been your fitness journey. How did you get started on that journey?
Well, I had a bunch of family deaths really close together and kind of sunk into some depression and started eating a lot of food, mainly ice cream, half a quart a day.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah,
for context, if you don't eat ice
Backs on
cream.
the weight, but you feel better emotionally even though you're sick physically.
Mhm.
And I knew I had to do something when I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2. So got some counseling, went to maybe 4 or 5 sessions, and then decided to check out some gyms. And I checked out a couple, and then I met Brendan when I was checking out gyms.
Very much by chance, by the way.
I was going to say, you guys better explain that whole story because it's kind of crazy how you guys ended up
Like,
meeting.
would you like me to?
Go ahead.
Oh, awesome.
You
I love
talk
talking.
better.
I do
know
love
you
talking.
He does love talking.
Yeah.
So it was at like noon, I think, right? I think it was
yeah,
midday.
I had the day off, so it was
You must
midday,
have.
yeah.
So I was just finishing up my morning sessions. That was back when I was just a full-time trainer at 10th Street. And I was working my morning session and I stayed late that day because, Austin, you can like give me a bonus or something here, but I was cleaning because I had sessions and I was staying late to clean and actually, do my job. And I was walking out And I saw Kim walked up to the front door and you were looking in kind of like, and then you were very clearly not a member. And I was very close just to being like, I'm punched out. I don't really want to have to deal with a sign up right now because they took about 20 minutes. I'm ready to go home. I want to go. I think I was going to go see Kendra or something. And I'm like, whatever. She looks like she's nice. I walked up. You look like you were nice. You were very smiley.
Well,
and I walked up to her and I asked if she needed help. And she's like, yeah, I'm thinking about joining. And I could tell you were very, very timid, very, very nervous to be there. And I was probably even louder back then with a higher pitched voice. I was probably even more scary. And I gave it to her at the gym. We swapped numbers. And then I left thinking she's not going to text me. There's no chance because she hardly talked during the tour. Like I said, I'm serious. I think I scared you during the tour.
I was just I had never thought about that until you literally just said that. But that is a crazy pairing that you guys got together because Brendan, for those of you who have never been around, is known as kind of that loud trainer who's he's very encouraging, but you are loud and you draw some attention to yourself. So,
oh yeah, excellent combination with someone that's terrified to be in the gym for the
and
first
hates
time.
being in the spotlight,
despises attention, paired with the loudest person you can possibly find in a small echoey gym. What could go wrong? So what
made you trust Brendan, Kim?
Yeah, what was it actually? I'm curious about this.
I don't know. I felt comfortable with him. And my dad, was one of the family members that passed away, and he had been a Great Life member. So I kind of wanted to try Great Life, and I had went to a couple other gyms, and they just really I didn't gel there. I didn't feel comfortable, but Brendan did make me feel comfortable.
Shocking. That's shocking, but that's good.
I know. Well, it was meant to be.
That's very true.
I was going to say, it's kind of crazy how just a small decision basically has us all sitting in this room at the same time right now.
I think about that a lot. Like I literally could have just been like, I'm not going to clean. I'll wait for my night shift or whoever's working at the night shift, like whatever. I never would have met Kim.
I know.
Weirdest thing ever.
You would have lost out.
I love when you laugh at your jokes. Favorite thing every day.
She's been laughing at her own jokes.
You should have seen the first 10 minutes before we recorded. She's just cracking up.
We had to restart twice to get this going. But so, Brendan, I don't think I've ever asked you this. What's your mindset when you go to take on? I mean, because Kim you had plantar fasciitis, you had type 2 diabetes. I mean, as a trainer, what's going through your head at that point?
Well, I was actually pretty nervous to start
because you were pretty young in your career yet, right?
That was like right when Kim was actually the jump start to me becoming a full-time trainer because people saw me training her and people saw me working with her. But to get back to your question, going back to starting with Kim, I was nervous because she was like my first like long-term person. Or the first person that had like stuck with me for a little bit, And I was like, well, she can't do much right now. She couldn't. I mean, I'm just saying you couldn't do much. No. Your mobility wasn't very good. We couldn't do many of the machines even because getting up and down was tough. Yep. So I was like, we got to take this back to the basics. I think we did our first session was bicep curls. Yeah. You almost fell over. You literally almost fell over. I was behind you. I handed you the weight. You did a curl and you almost wet. I was like, what? Come back.
Yeah. I did not have good balance.
No, your balance is much better now.
Yeah. So what's going through your head in those first few sessions then, Kim? I mean, obviously he's loud and encouraging, but I mean, what's your thought process in that moment?
Well, it was terrifying because I couldn't even hardly walk upstairs. Mm-hmm. I had to pull myself literally using the handrail up the stairs.
Getting up a flight of 17 steps was about a 1 minute process.
Yeah, it was very tough. And I was really out of breath when I
it was a 2-step, 2 feet every step, 1, 2.
So was this like something you kind of expected to struggle with coming in, or was that, pretty discouraging?
Well, I knew it'd be hard because I was really out of shape and really overweight. So I knew it'd be hard, but I also knew I needed to do it to get better. And I was trusting Brendan to get me there. Mm-hmm. And, it just gelled. I liked his personality and it worked for me as far as training.
I honestly think I distracted you from all the crappy stuff we were doing. I'm not kidding. I think I had that a lot. I think a lot of trainers in general do that. But I think with you especially, just because back when that was 4 years ago. So I was younger and I actually was a lot more talkative when I was younger.
Crazy. Which is surprising.
It's very scary. But I was more talkative then, and it was just different then. And I think I just distracted Kim from thinking about what she was doing.
So did you
Yeah.
have like a mindset as far as how long it would take? Did you have any expectations on that front?
No, I didn't have any expectations. I just tried to take it, one step at a time.
Literally, like
So,
it kind of
yeah,
was like
it
literally
was.
like just taking those bigger and bigger steps.
Yep.
Whether it was a step up the stairs, whether it was getting onto a treadmill, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, getting
It
onto.
was.
Well, to be fair, I made the mistake of putting you on like the higher treadmills, and then we got up there, and you like kind of look down, like, like, and I'm like, I did not think this far ahead.
Didn't think we'd get this far.
Yeah.
So
What would you, Kim? What would you say would be your first milestone of I can do this?
Oh gosh. It probably took about a good 6 months before I really felt like I could do it, just because I was so sore.
Yeah.
I had to take so much ibuprofen to get through a normal day before we even started
Mhm.
working out. I was taking, 4 like every 6 hours
Mhm.
just to get through the day because of all the pain.
Yeah.
well, yeah, add on top of the injuries you had and things along those
Yeah.
lines.
So once we started working out and then I started feeling better, and that was like, okay, I can do this. And when I
Mhm.
think I lost my first 50,
Yeah, because we
Then it
posted
was-
a picture. Then we'll
yeah.
post that on here. When you lost your first 50, I feel like that's when I kind of saw in you like, oh, I can do these and I can actually push myself. Because a lot of
Yep.
your issues weren't that you like at the beginning. There's stuff you physically could not do,
right?
but once you got like 25, 30, 50 pounds down, there was a lot of things that I know you could do, but you weren't quite ready to be like pushed to the point where I make you do it because we weren't quite that far along in our relationship yet,
Yeah.
But I mean, now I make you do everything. Like, I don't care if you don't want to do it. I'm like, no, you're getting up by yourself, or no, you're getting up there by yourself.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you hit kind of that 50 pound mark, you're like, yeah, I can do this. And I
Yeah.
saw you were more willing
Mhm.
and less of a, I can't do that, and more of a, okay, and you just would go for it,
Yeah, I think Brendan has always had more faith in me than I've had in myself on what I could do.
So when you first started out, obviously you wanted to come in losing the weight. Was the number on the scale a big driver for you at that point? Or what was kind of goal number one, day one in the gym?
Well, to lose weight, but I don't think I was thinking about it that much. I knew I needed to get there, but I think just because of how I was feeling, how sore, I just wanted to get to the point where I wasn't sore like every day.
I hate waking up and I can't get out. Like, I can't move.
I know.
Well, I mean, that's a hurdle to get over in itself, just knowing that like
For anybody.
you've been this sore for the past 5 workouts. When am I going to stop being sore? I mean, it starts to turn into a process where you're like, is this ever going to end, or am I going to live sore forever?
Yeah. Well, and I had been inactive for so many years that my muscles were like, we're not doing this.
So Kim, walk us through. So you said you no longer are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Type 1 is the one you can't get rid of. Type 2 is one that you can get rid of. Right?
Well, if it's non-insulin dependent, I think you can.
Cool. That's what it is
Because
then.
mine was related to weight.
Right.
So I think that's why I was able to get rid of it.
Anyways, talk us through that and like what that was like talking to your doctor about that. How long did that take?
And did you know it was possible before starting out to lose the diabetes?
I didn't know it was possible to get rid of it. When I got the diagnosis, of course, I was very upset, as anybody would be. But then, when I started working out with Brendan, and I'd go in every 6 months to have my blood work, my A1C done, and it kept dropping and dropping. So I was seeing that working out was working and that I was getting better. And my doctor was very supportive of that and encouraging and keep it up. And it didn't have to go on insulin. It didn't have to increase any of my oral medications. So, that was a big driving force too, because I wanted to make sure and get that down to as low as I could. And it was, less than normal even.
So you had no idea that you could eliminate it, but your mindset at that point was just, let's not allow this to get any worse, essentially.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't want to, you see people that have diabetes and they have all sorts of complications. And I have, friends and some relatives that have had complications, and I just didn't want to go down that road.
Mm-hmm. So is this a conversation then that you brought up with the doctor, or did the doctor bring that up with you, or how did you get to the point where you're like, I need to go work out?
Well, it was when I was feeling so bad and, the big green interstate signs on the highway. My vision was so bad I couldn't even see that
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
with glasses on.
Like,
And that was due to the
ever? Like during
diabetes?
the day? And
Yeah, during the day, at night. And I knew something was really wrong.
yeah.
So I went to the doctor, and that's when he did my blood work and came in and gave me the news.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that I'd even thought about.
Hmm.
But
Did you
when
ha-
you get that diagnosis, then, you need to do something.
Did you have any numbness in any of your fingers or toes?
No.
Nothing like that?
No.
That's something I've heard commonly with people that have that as well.
Yeah. I think that's comes down the road later.
later?
If you don't take care of yourself. All right. It probably could happen if you do take care of yourself too. It's peripheral neuropathy. But luckily I didn't have that.
Yeah,
So you get this report from the doctor, you have to do something.
Mhm.
Where do you start? I'm just trying to see what's your mindset?
Step one for you?
Well, step one was getting counseling because I
Mhm.
didn't deal with all the deaths
Yeah.
that I had in my
Well,
family.
it's tough for anybody. I mean,
Yeah. And one have, my husband passed,
Mhm.
my grandma, my parents. So, and I just didn't really deal with any of that. So I had to deal with it. And I was isolating, and I needed to deal with that too. Because if you have to work out, well, you could do it at home, but I'm not one that I knew I was not going to do it at home.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with that so I could have the courage to go somewhere and start working out.
So do you remember the last time you bought a pint of ice cream? This better not be like last week.
Well, on the way here,
Tuesday the 4th.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Do you actually remember the last time you did? And then you were like, no, I don't like you. Sorry, rephrasing that. Do you remember the first time you were like, no, I don't need to go buy that?
Yeah, still that's my weakness. Ice cream is my weakness.
Yeah, I know.
And,
it's really a lot of people's
that's
weakness.
very common as well. But
so, you have to get something in the aisle that's down there. It's like, oh, that looks really good. But nope, I'm not going to do it because I worked this hard.
so was that a big mental barrier for you to overcome?
Yeah, I think so.
Or seriously, some people can just quit cold turkey like that when they have a goal. Were you like that?
No, it's been a struggle because food for me comforts me.
Yeah, I mean, comfort. I mean, it's nice. It feels tastes good.
Yeah, whether I'm happy, sad, whatever.
Because
I'm going to eat. And so it's been hard for me to change that mindset.
I will admit, one thing with you that I was always impressed with from day one was that, unless you weren't telling me, I could probably count on my hands the amount of times you've admitted to me that you had a slip up in your nutrition that it wasn't like going out with family or holidays.
Mhm.
Like, I honestly do not remember more than maybe 3 times where Kim has been like, yeah, I had, M&Ms. And then what it is, it's like I had a trick or treat package of M&Ms. And I'm like, shut up, Kim. That's good. I'm glad you had that. It's like
50 calories.
It's like literally 12 carbs. Grow up.
Well, then you yelled at me when I said that.
Well, that was because you were mad about yourself for like going out bad. I'm like, well, yeah, that's gonna happen, but I mean, that's very unique that you were able to do that though, because you went from 100% not healthy foods.
Yeah.
And you told me what you're eating. And I was like, okay. And then I could see that you were losing weight. So you obviously weren't lying to me. How hard was that transition?
Well, it was hard, but at the same time, I knew I needed to watch my carbs and what I ate. So I didn't want to eat sugar. I didn't want to eat a bunch of pastas and breads. So I really watched pretty closely what I ate.
Did you have any previous things that you've tried before you met me that maybe you lost like 10 or 15 or 20 pounds on and then you gained it right back?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I had, and this was before I put on all my extra weight. I kind of struggled after high school with weight a little bit. And in my 20s, I did go to some classes, but then I joined a soccer
workout classes?
team. Excuse me, workout classes, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I joined a soccer team, so I was really active and had lost a bunch of weight, and then I broke my leg.
Oh,
no, jeez.
Yeah. So
that just destroyed the momentum.
Yeah. So then I didn't get back to that. The gym closed. It was a gym that I felt comfortable at and didn't really feel comfortable anywhere else.
Yeah.
So then, and life happens, you get stressed and 2 jobs and eating late at night. And
Right.
Well, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm just like fascinated now because we didn't even talk about this on the first recording, and just full transparency, they know each other very well. You guys have known each other, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I guess I'm curious to ask you then, Kim, is because I don't think that any of us would disagree that there's a huge mental aspect to overall fitness, wellness, well-being. So I guess because it's taken me years to get to this point, did you have a history with counseling that made you think that that was a good starting point? Because I think it's the best starting point you could have had, but I'm not sure, like, if I were in the same situation, I would have gotten to that point. So was there like somebody in your life telling you that you should go to counseling first to address this before you tackle that? Or was that just kind of something that you just felt was right?
No, I didn't have anybody recommending that. I just knew that because I was depressed and sad and just not happy, that I needed to do something. And I knew it had somewhat to do with all the deaths and that I really wasn't dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I needed to get some counseling in order to move on with my life.
Okay. No, that's fascinating to me. I think that that's beautiful that was your first move rather than, because I feel like a lot of people go to the gym to solve their problems, which, it is an outlet. It allows you to really get rid of some tension that you have, things along those lines. But at the end of the day, getting a 6-pack isn't going to solve your problems.
Right.
No.
It's
Or a half gallon of ice cream.
If you have body dysmorphia, food eating disorder, stuff like that, you need to get help.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting help either. And like he said, it's very good that you went to counseling because, hey, I mean, that might have set you up for that right mindset of I needed to change. Maybe if you didn't do that, you might have had that self-doubt, and maybe you would have had those days where you gave into, I want to eat this ice cream today.
Yeah. Well, and I had tried to, before that, I had gone to a local gym and tried to do some walking, I was walking and lost a little bit, but I was going with a friend and she could no longer go due to health issues. And I really didn't feel comfortable going by myself. And I didn't really feel comfortable with the trainers there. So I just did not go back to that gym.
If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to name any gyms or anything, obviously. What about these places actually made someone at your point at the start of your journey, what made you feel uncomfortable? Because I think it's important for people to hear that, because we may not think that things we're doing in the gym, both trainers and people working out, are actually what's causing people to not want to come into the gym.
Especially coming from people in the industry, we can become blind to some of the things going on.
Like, give us a few examples of like what made you actually feel uncomfortable and not welcome in a gym.
Well, the other people that were going were all very friendly, but there was a time limit on how long you could walk on the machines, just because they didn't have a lot of them. And I felt I needed to be on there longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trainers that they only had a couple, but they were, of course, friendly with the people that they were training.
Right.
But, didn't really say, hi to anybody else, or do you have any questions? Can I help you? What are you, looking to go? What are your goals? So I wasn't comfortable approaching them for any type of training.
Did you try?
Interesting.
No.
Never even made the attempt?
No.
Interesting.
I didn't feel comfortable enough to even try.
So what makes this freak on the other side of the table more approachable than anybody else? Now I'm really curious, because I've known him since preschool. So, I mean, there's got to be something there.
I don't know. I guess I just liked how loud he was.
To be fair, and I'm being serious.
Just trying to be polite.
When I was at 10th Street, it literally made it my goal to try to talk to every single person in there. And I always, even when I was probably training you, it probably even showed you, like, I would just talk to everybody while I was in that gym. And I would got to know everybody, make sure everyone knew that I wanted to help them if they needed it. And that's how a successful trainer becomes successful, is by building a better relationship with everyone that's coming into the gym. Yep. And obviously Kim and I's situation is different because I met her outside of the gym and gave her first tour,
just
obviously.
outside the door, but
right. No, I mean, like you weren't working out, meeting me. I know. You're right, Kim. You are correct, but no, that's another good one.
Nux.
But what was I saying?
Training outside or out.
What? Get
We
drunk.
did train outside though.
We did run outside a few times. That was nerve wracking because you could have sued me. He said I like threw a rock at you or something.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that either, but
You wouldn't sue me?
I wouldn't throw a rock at you.
Okay.
Anyways, back on topic here. So what about Great Life besides me? I guess not to be like, besides myself, but besides me, what about Great Life in the gyms has made you feel more comfortable and you think that it helps other people feel more comfortable?
Well, everybody's friendly, whether it's the people that are coming in, the trainers, the other staff. Everybody always says, hi, how you doing? They get to know you very quickly. And they do a lot of work in the community, done food drives and clothing, school supplies. So that just, to me, says, this gym cares about the community too. And I like that. So.
Absolutely. So moving on a little bit, I think it's important for people that have gone through what you've gone through, the amazing transformation and everything. I think it's important for you to communicate to people that are maybe where you were 4 years ago about what it's going to take and what advice do you have for people that were in your spot 4 years ago. Talk a little bit about what would you tell Kim Wahl 4.5 years ago?
It'll get better. It's a long, hard journey. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a lot of willpower to not eat the stuff that you were eating. You have to have a lot of determination because you're going to have a lot of aches and pains. And until you really get to the point where you feel comfortable to go to the gym, even by yourself, you have to find that determination to go. And, it's helpful when you hire a trainer because if you're paying somebody to help you, you want to get in there.
You're going to show up.
Yeah. We make investments in cars and houses, but it's important to invest in ourselves.
I love that.
That's the quote of the year right there.
I love that. That's very true. It's crazy how much people don't think about I'll put money into my car or I'll go buy this. I'll go buy a new camera or something. But it's I'm not going to take 20 minutes a day to work out and take care of myself so I feel better and can be more functionally or feel better throughout the entire day. Well,
and to me, I feel better now than I did years ago.
Right.
And I think my life is better because of it. I'm doing more things that I never thought that I would be able to do.
What are some of those things?
Yeah, better list some of those.
Rip it off. I want to hear it.
Well, I couldn't, as you know, sit down on the floor.
Yep.
Unless I fell down.
Which you did do also.
Yeah.
You were good at that. I will give you that.
Yep.
Oh, you're natural on that one.
Went on vacation. I was, because of all my weight, I really didn't feel comfortable going on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But now I went on vacation. I'm going again. If I feel like I want to go somewhere, check out something downtown, I feel like I can go by myself and I don't feel uncomfortable that I'm being stared at because of my weight.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess would you say that that's maybe one of the bigger changes that's happened since the journey began, I guess, for lack of a better word?
Dive into that a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think my attitude towards myself has changed. I feel more comfortable being out and I don't feel like people are looking at me and making comments, like, oh, look how overweight she is, or why doesn't she do something?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and ever since I've known you, obviously not quite as long as Brendan, but I've known Brendan forever. So I've been on kind of backgrounds of your journey since the beginning there. But I guess I completely lost where I was going with that. Completely lost it. There's a blooper for you, Brendan.
Amateur hour.
Amateur. Oh. It was a good question too, and I lost it. It's gone. It's not coming back.
This is what makes editing these hard because I know that somewhere in here I have to find this clip and delete it. Or maybe I won't. You know what? Look at this loser.
Oh my God.
Don't
worry, everybody.
Leave it in there.
Ow!
Leave it in there.
So what else have you done? Were you done talking about the feeling better about yourself thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So what have you actually done, besides sitting down and doing stuff like stairs? Have you done anything else? I know the answer to it. I just want to lead into it. Have you done anything else races or something?
Oh,
wow. Oh my God. That was totally random. I didn't even know what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a couple. Well, I did a trail run, and then I did the inflatable race, and then the warrior trail run with the obstacle courses. And I wasn't sure I'd be able to do all the obstacles, but I did them.
All of them.
And I will tell you, that's a hard race. Like, that is a genuinely, like,
oh, yeah.
It's not like a Spartan race, but it's like you're jumping over stuff, you're crawling. And it's stuff where I think if I would have told Kim 4 years ago that she was going to do, she would have been like,
no.
I don't think so. So what else did you tell people when they're starting this journey?
Just go for it.
Right.
You know, it is hard, but it's worth it in the end. You will feel better. Exercise is the fountain of youth.
Absolutely.
I remembered what I was going to ask now. All
right, back to Dalton's question that he forgot.
It's back. Ding, ding, ding. Anyways, so since I have known you though, Kim, you've always been somebody who loves taking care of people. Like, for those who weren't there at the Lift for a Cause a couple years ago, I think Kim brought more cookies that day than I've ever seen anybody have in their possession at one time. Ever.
Oh, I'm going to I'll just bring a couple cases of cookies. She comes with like a truckload. Like, I need help carrying these in.
No, that was literally the look on his face when he got to the trunk.
Not every Great Life member is going to be here. You didn't have to make 30,000 cookies, Kim.
But 30,000.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, it was like 1,500.
But anyways, my point to that was, so during this time before you kind of started the fitness journey and lost all this weight, started feeling great, were you as active in trying to help other people out, or did that limit that desire in you to an extent?
Well, baking is one of my hobbies. So
very good at it, by the way.
Yeah, very good.
I always baked a lot. But since I lost weight, I felt more comfortable, going out and volunteering at some of the events, that Great Life has had. So I wouldn't have done that before.
That's another thing. Kim volunteered at a powerlifting meet. Like, tell her that 4 years ago, she'd have been like, I don't know what that is. And no, I'm not going to do it.
Well, and I guess, was that a physical thing? Like, you just feel like you couldn't have handled the entire stress of the day, or was it kind of a mental thing? You didn't, kind of similar to not wanting to go out, or?
It was a combination of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a question. I don't think I've ever asked you this. So, going back to your point about the whole feeling self-conscious being in public, people looking at you, talking things. Does that actually stem from something happening? You don't have to be in specifics at all. Does that actually stem from something happening? Or do you think it's just more of I'm way too overanalyzing this, but it's just, you couldn't help feeling it?
It's probably more on my mental thought process than people actually thinking that. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I had been bullied in junior, grade school and junior high. So having gone through that for other reasons, I didn't want to give anybody the opportunity to say anything to me about my weight. Yeah.
Well, and from that perspective too, it may not be reality that person is thinking it, but from your perception is your reality, and you can't escape that. So if you're feeling that way, it doesn't matter if that person's actually thinking it. That's how you feel.
And a lot of times we're the harshest critics of ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
You find a flaw with yourself and you blow it up times 10 in your head. I think this giant zit on my head is bad, but in reality, actually, no, it's just horrible. In case you haven't noticed yet, by the way. But really, it's
put a Band-Aid on it.
Thank you, Kim. I didn't hear you the first 9 times you told me to do that.
She did 3 times before we started recording.
Yeah, it never gets old.
And this morning,
like 6 times. No, not even kidding. Anyways, back to that. We are always our own harshest critic, and it's really hard to get past that point of, I'm way overthinking this. When in reality, it's like we see every flaw of ourselves because we look at ourselves every single day in the mirror. When in reality, someone could point out something to you and you're like, or you could point out something, or you could point out your flaw to someone and they're like, oh, I never even noticed that. And you're like, oh.
My dad actually told me this story of, he had pretty bad acne when he was younger, and he was always very self-conscious about it. Felt like everybody was always looking at it. And my dad's a terrible writer. He'll admit it. But he wrote a paper on this topic, and it got him his only A in his entire school career on a writing assignment, where he basically wrote about how he didn't feel like anybody actually noticed because everybody was so concerned about themselves anyways. And that got him over that overnight. And he told me that story, and I guess we must be related, but overnight I was over it. And it was just kind of crazy to think about that everybody else is just thinking about what they're going through, thinking about how they look that day. Oh my God, I wore these jeans 3 times this week. Is anybody going to notice? Like,
literally someone's like, oh, are those new?
Yeah.
Like,
newsflash. Nope. Nobody cares about me that much.
I wear the same thing to work every day, and Kim either doesn't notice or is just really polite and doesn't say anything.
It's your uniform.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Noticed. What gave it away? The red shirt?
Except when you're working out before we work out.
What?
Then
What?
you
You don't wear the same clothes to that, do you?
No,
No.
he doesn't.
Yeah, I wear my Lulus and dress shirt during my workout. Me and AK do. Anyways. Okay, so I have Kim's permission to talk about this, but Kim, how old are you?
I'm 57.
You would never, ever think that. I've had numerous people, like people that
Yeah,
know Kim well.
I just learned this right now.
Right. I've had numerous people tell me that they think Kim is in her like lower 40s, upper 30s. Kim, talk about how age is so irrelevant when it comes to getting your health back in check.
It is irrelevant because I started my weight loss journey at 53. If I started at 53, anybody can do it, and it was hard, but you feel so much better. I feel better now at 57 than I did when I was in my 30s.
Right.
That is crazy because that just puts it all in perspective to me because I knew it was a hard journey already. You had some crazy obstacles, but to start it at that age as well, just having a very little background in fitness, that you literally made every single right move. Like just
I had
you
a
built
lot
the
of help.
community around, but it was your actions that got you to the gym that day.
Right.
It was your actions that, built the community around you of people who love you and support you. And I think that's a testament to who you are. But I think that hopefully you can really inspire somebody else that's in a similar situation at this point.
Well, a lot of it was Brendan, honestly.
Well, thanks, Kim.
Because he
All right, let's not give him so
he
much
kept me
credit here.
entertained and
Distracted.
Training
The training was okay, but like the
went-
entertainment was phenomenal.
well worth
Who
it.
needs to go to a movie when I can train Brendan 4 hours a week?
Oh, we can listen to him review another Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes. Kim, the amount of times I've talked to Kim about Marvel movies, Shrek, yeah, obviously Shrek, that still goes on. Blink 182. One time I gave the entire history of Blink 182 to Kim, and at the end of it, I'm pretty positive she asked, "Who am I talking about?"
If I remember right, too, you just posted a couple weeks ago, Kim was listening to some metal while she was warming up. Like, you ever listen to screamo music now?
I put it
was
on, and it was a falling in verse song, and then like the first sentence they say the A word in it. So I put it on knowing she was gonna be like that, and it's like she's listening, and all of a sudden, it was amazing. And on that note, by the way, every single time I walk up behind Kim, I always look at what she's listening to on YouTube. There are 2 options: 1, it's our podcast or a video that I put out there, or 2, it's freaking Cimarelli. You know what that is?
I do listen to other people.
No, you don't. Stop
yes,
it.
I do.
It's like an
You're just
all-girl-
not there when
it's an all-girl a cappella group. The only
What's
people.
wrong with acapella?
Nothing, but you got to listen to
Every
more
song
than one.
is better a cappella.
Okay, I
Name a
don't
song.
disagree. What?
Name a song.
Passion of the
Better
Christ.
a cappella.
You heard what I said.
Passion of the Christ.
Okay. Anyways, Kim, you need to listen to different music. It was only Christmas
I
music from
do.
like October to December 25.
Well, that's standard.
And but that's what she listened to. She was trying to get hyped up to work out. It's like the Michael Bublé album, whatever his name is.
Bubbles?
Michael Bublé. What? You got something to say about that?
No. But why?
No, because
She can't even defend herself.
'cause
right now.
you're right.
She's like, wow, all right. Yeah, I'll just give you that one.
Yeah. No, this was awesome. This is actually really funny. So one time, this was after our podcast with Jean. I walk up and she's watching it. I'm like, "Oh, you're watching the podcast?" No. And I can hear it super good. It's really loud. And I'm like, "Kim, I don't think she has over-the-ear headphones. I don't think your headphones are connected." And she's like, "Oh, is that why I can't hear it?" I'm like, she's like 12 minutes in.
Did you pick up on any of the points before that? Or?
No.
She listens to the entire podcast without the sound on her headphones.
See, but that's
how could you even hear it?
That's how you know Kim is the most polite person on planet Earth, because she wasn't gonna tell us that the sound was bad. She was just, it was great. I didn't hear any of it, but it was great.
I liked it.
Oh, did you actually hear it or not?
Well, after you got me set straight.
After I
could
connected
hear
your
it,
headphones?
yeah.
Oh, also connecting our Bluetooth headphones was a fun adventure that I had to just turn it on.
Hey.
It wouldn't work.
Hey, do we have to remind you that the first time we did this, it's lost. We got the lost tapes. The first Kim recording, that was your fault.
Okay, first of all,
We can gang up on you again.
Yeah.
yeah. That was literally the funniest thing I've ever had happen to me in the gym. I lost my mind and I realized she had just not turned her headphones on. And somehow she was 10 minutes in and just is like, oh, that's why I can't hear it very, very well. And I'm like, how would you hear it at all? It wasn't even loud on your phone.
Well, because there's probably 10 treadmills going on.
Yeah, I'm like, somehow I was like, I don't get you.
Well, I have good hearing. I could hear it.
Yeah, that's
but
a
it was
testament to
really,
what she
really
said
low.
earlier. No wonder you kept cranking it up. Like, God, this is just not getting any louder. This is so weird.
Jesus,
I'm entertaining everybody else.
Oh my gosh, the last 15 minutes of this is just an awesome mess.
Yeah, good luck editing this.
I'm not editing any of this.
Don't do it.
All right. Well, Kim, unless there's anything else you'd like to share, we're going to wrap it up, okay?
No, just that you're awesome. And I appreciate
What about me?
all that you've done for me. And you're awesome
Shut
too,
up, it's my
Dalton. But, Brendan gives me a hug every day. So
That's fair. It took Kim 2 years to get me the protein ball recipe, but I'm going to make that anyways. And what's going on over there? Can we save the hugs till we're done recording, kids? Come on. Are you okay? You going to be able to end this all right, Brendan? I haven't seen him laugh like this in a while.
This is the way our sessions usually go.
I'm going to just cut the black.
So you're saying that the sessions are never that productive anymore?
Oh, God, no.
We work the abdominals very well.
You've been waiting to drop that joke, haven't you?
Yeah, sure.
I'm crying. It's going to be so hard to edit, dude.
Well, anyways,
Kim.
this was the best episode ever. I hope you guys all enjoyed this.
Anyways, Kim, thank you so much for being on. Your story is amazing. Your story is incredibly inspirational. And I hope anyone watching this that may be somewhere, you don't even have to be where Kim started, but if you're someone that's wanting to start your fitness journey and you just don't know how to start, the best thing you can do is to, one, find a gym that you feel comfortable with. Two, a training buddy or a personal trainer is a great way to start as well. And just ask for help and just know that you are supported wherever you're going. And you may think that everyone's looking at you and judging you. And this is a great thing to remember with it being New Year's. 99.9 repeating percent of people are happy to see you in there, even if you're someone that clearly isn't aware or doesn't know what to do in the gym. Like, I've been going to the gym for a long time. I love seeing people that, ask questions that are maybe just starting off the machines. I think that's great. And I think that's an amazing thing. So people are so happy to see you if you're in the gym and you're a beginner.
And I think to add to that, I think I can speak for all three of us. If you don't know where to start, our DMs, our social media sites, anything that you can get a hold of us, reach out to us. I think all three of us would love to help at least point you in the right direction at the very least.
Maybe not Kim, because she checks her direct messages if she knows how every 9 months. So maybe just start out with me and Dalton.
We can just put her personal phone number on here.
Yeah, we'll put your phone number at the top here.
Okay.
That'd be a fun 12 p.m. call. Anyways.
And just to say too that don't think that you have to start your weight loss journey with weight loss pills or surgery, because you don't have to.
There's other options before that point. Yeah. Absolutely.
Better sustainable
Exercise works, and there's no generally not complications.
Right. Absolutely.
You just might get a dude following you around for the next 4 years and never leaving you alone.
You'll get another family member.
I'd hug you again, but we're not going through that again.
Let's save it till we're done recording.
Let's stand up first. All right. Thank you so much, Kim. You're amazing. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next episode.